Hi everyone, this is the LEGO Friends Adventure Camp Cozy Cabins. It is a 7+ set that was released in June 2024. Here's a look at the back of the box. Looks like there's lots of things that we can do in this set, and very interestingly, a toilet that LEGO loves to do in lots of their sets that are intended for kids. And there's something that we're going to collect. Let's have a look at that later, but first let's open the box. So in this set we got 3 numbered bags, as well as this sticker sheet right here. And we also get this instruction manual that we will not be using, as usual. There is a QR code in the corner if you want to scan that to get some points. Alright, let's go straight to bag 1. So as usual, I will be applying the stickers with a brick separator that's not included in the set. And for round stickers, in general, we need to pay attention how we apply them. But for these particular ones here, because they're seats, it doesn't matter too much. So I'm not going to be as strict with these 3 compared to this one. Now for this sticker we need to be careful because we want the toilet to be pointing upwards. So what I recommend doing is attaching this piece to the door first, then putting the sticker on a brick separator, and then aligning it just right. Yeah, because if you just stick it on randomly, chances are it's going to be like diagonal. You'll have to like remove it and add a gun. So yeah, this is good. Bag 1 builds this nice tree, except for this blue pin. Yes, I'll save my review for the end, but I'll say right now that I absolutely despise this blue pin. We also get the toilet here, the sink, this side build here of the fire pit, 2 bikes, 2 s'mores, and 2 mini dolls with the helmets and a whole bunch of extra pieces that could be made into a side build of their own. It's quite a lot of extra pieces for one bag and pretty impressive. So bag 2 builds this house right here, or this cabin right here, including everything inside, and Paisley's diary. We know it's Paisley's being with a P. We also get this red fox, reddish orange fox, which is done well. We'll look at this later, but unfortunately we don't have a name for this fox. So we'll just have to set him or her aside. And somehow this piece should be used in the build, but I did not find out where to put it. Probably it goes somewhere in the foundation or the base, but you can also leave it out and I think it'll be just fine. And this is also the bag where we get these pieces right here. There are 3 in total in the set. 2 regular, 1 extra, and it has this fire symbol on it. Alright, we are done with bag 3 and the entire build. Bag 3 builds this right here. I did leave off 1 sticker that's supposed to go here according to the 3D view, and it's this one here. The reason I'm leaving it off is because I do not want to perpetuate the stereotype that boys' rooms and boys' cabins are messy. Already this sticker I did not enjoy applying it, and I have to talk to Zach later to ask him to clean up if it's Zach's bed, or maybe it's Ollie or Leo, I'm not sure. But either way, this is not great, but it's also fairly realistic. So all the beds are done in a very similar fashion across all the cabins, and between this build and this other build, the cabins themselves are the same, except for the highlight color. Here it's yellow and here it is teal. So not specifically coded for one gender or another, so you could adjust this to fit your own play patterns. You can throw out Zach and bring in the other girls, or you could make up your own story. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy that they're not using the bright pink and purple everywhere. A little bit of purple is fine, like over here. We got this flag that represents the summer camp, a nice lamp here, and this is supposed to be the bike stand. Let's see how well it works. In the box, it makes it seem like it works perfectly. I mean, it works a little bit, works fine, but it doesn't lock the bike into place. So if you do this, or you move the thing around, the bike will move. And maybe this is for the better because for young kids, they might want to just take the bike off. So it's not super sturdy, but it's good enough. And on this side, there's a little bit of foliage. Over here, we get basically the same thing with this mushroom piece here using the reddish orange cover. Here we get the 2 beds that are a little bit closer. One of them has a bicycle pattern, which is pretty interesting. we get this coffee mug, or just a mug in general, and no spiderweb sticker for this one right here. We have here this book with a P that stands for Paisley, so it's either Paisley's diary or Paisley's book of some sort. Inside, they tell us to put these pieces here that are collectible. They represent the fireplace or fire activity of some sort. And over here, we have a familiar face. Is that a gopher or is that something else? We have some music here. I can't read sheet music off the top of my head, so I don't know what song this is specifically, but if you do know, if you recognize it, comment down below. And they give us a nice place to hold the book right here, so it does not go anywhere, so that's pretty nice. And in this cabin, we also get an axe. I wonder what that is for. A little bit of foliage, and I don't know if these are mushrooms or some other toxic plant. They look pretty toxic to me. And just in general, if you're in the forest, you're looking at food to eat, or you want to eat some food, don't eat this, and don't eat any random fungi that you come across. Now, the one major disadvantage of this cabin is that it's right next to the toilet, which has no roof, unfortunately, and I would have preferred if this was separate and far, far away from the cabin, just thinking about it as a real person. But maybe Lego mini dolls have a different system. So yeah, toilet with a sign and a door. There's no lock on the door, but so you have to rely on the honor system or just see if there's any feet underneath. The toilet itself is fine, it's just a hole, but they do give you a fresh roll of toilet paper, so that's nice to see. And when you're done using this, there's a sink, and this is, you can either think of this as like a water supply or a hand sanitizer, as you prefer. And then we have this nice looking tree here. Everything about the tree is good, except for this blue pin right here. And I see the blue pin, it's visible through this hole here, and they should have never used a blue pin for this. They should have found a way to make this tree without using this blue pin, because it really annoys me. I've never seen a tree in real life that has a blue on the inside. The gray, to me, is acceptable. It's not the perfect color to use here, but it's close enough to the brown where it doesn't bother me. But this blue here, it does bother me. So I hope that Lego produces this piece in other colors, or just produces another piece that I can use instead of it. The rest of the tree is fine. And I like that we got a lot of this piece here in dark green. It's going to be very useful for custom creations. We do have this fire pit here with 3 seats. The stickers here are pretty interesting. So the first one here shows a daisy with some of the petals removed. And this reminds me of the game that some people play as kids, like he loves me not, she loves me not. It's basically, you keep saying that and taking off petals off the flower until you're out of petals, and the last thing you said is what you believe to be true. And then here, this one has a pair of eyes, so this is a bug of some sort. What is that? And here is just a leaf. The fire is done well with a combination of large and small flame pieces, so it looks pretty cool, and when the light hits it, it looks pretty realistic, or as realistic as can be with just Lego parts. We do have here some marshmallows that are being toasted, and this one is starting to get burned, so watch out if you're toasting marshmallows in the fire. Don't leave them for too long, otherwise you'll burn them. We also get some s'mores in the set. There are a couple. And you're supposed to put them, if you follow like the box, you're supposed to put them here, except there's no studs here, so like they'll just slide off right away. This is not a very, even here on a totally level surface, if I put it here, like I just knock it off very easily, so I'd rather put them somewhere else. They should have provided some studs for that. We already looked at the bikes previously, briefly, but let's look at them again, and we'll look at them with, let's say, a random mini doll. So I believe this bike mold is new, either for this set or relatively new. I've not seen this exact bike mold before. The idea is that we adjust the handles and the mini doll hands, and we do this. Yeah, that looks cool, and that actually looks realistic because a lot of people ride their bikes standing up, especially these kind of mountain bikes. And the tires are fat enough to where the bike stands on its own sometimes. So you can play with the bike if you know what you're doing. And okay, it's like when you're moving it, you have to keep holding it at all times. But if you let go at just the right angle, it will hold itself in place, and that's pretty good. So in this set, we get 3 mini dolls. Here are the 2 girls, Paisley and Sky. Both of them are done very well and very detailed. Here's a look at the prints on the back. This one here is done very well, with the teal continuing from the shorts all the way up here to the suspenders, and the pink hair piece is also very nice to get. The one on Paisley is a lot simpler. Both of them have printed shoes, and here's a better look at Paisley's print for the torso. It contains the logo for the summer camp, and so does this one. So both of them are nice to get. With Paisley's hair, we get a hole to add an accessory. However, no such accessory is included in the set, unfortunately, but there are many other friend sets that do include these kind of accessories. And for this hairpiece, there is no such hole, so Sky is going to have to make without any accessories. When I first saw the set, I didn't realize that Sky was smiling. She is smiling, but it's a very subtle smile. The smile on Paisley is much wider. So that's interesting to see, and it's nice to see a diversity of facial expressions in LEGO Friends. I also like the fact that they use teal here for sky. It's a nice color to get in general. And Paisley does seem to have what looks like a banjo or a guitar. So she's going to be singing some music for us, so that's pretty cool. In this set, we also get Zach and this red fox that's done in the reddish orange. Both of these are very nice to get. We have seen Zach before, but here he's wearing a new shirt with the summer camp logo on it. He has a big smile. It's always very nice to see. And the red fox is done very, very cute. A little bit of printing at the back, and it also has a hole here for adding some accessories if you want to accessorize the fox. The printing here is a little bit weak or a little bit faded compared to where I would like it to be. So it should be perfectly white, but instead of being white, it's kind of pinkish. So that is something to improve on. Everything else here is good. And by the way, the fox does take up 2 studs space, in case you are wondering. Oh, and on the back of the restroom, there's this interesting sticker here that has a Z plus S inside a heart and a skunk that's making a bad smell. So Z plus S, I would assume that this is Zach plus Sky. So who wrote this? Is it Zach? Is it Sky? Is it someone else? Or are these different people with the same initials? There's only one way to find out, and that's by watching the LEGO Friends show on YouTube. I have not done that yet, so I genuinely don't know who this is in reference to, but if you do know, don't comment down below. Don't leave any spoilers for the people who are interested. But because this is a 7+ set, it's a set intended for young children, I think they might just be friends here and not necessarily something romantic, and definitely not something serious. Yeah, so let's talk about the set as it is and its price and value, and then I'll move on to talk about other things that I would like to do with the set, my customizations. So again, we get all this stuff in this set, and this set costs $45 US or $60 Canadian for 437 pieces, and I think the set is overpriced. It's a good set, it's a good parts pack, you get some interesting pieces in various colors, so it's not a bad set by any means, except for that blue pin right there. I don't like that blue pin. And I don't like the sticker here with the spider, but that's a minor nitpick and you can always leave it off. But yeah, I think it's a good set, but I just don't think it's worth the asking price. And I'm sure this is one of those sets that's going to go on discount a few months after release. So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find this 20-25% off easily, and maybe even 30-40% off if you wait long enough or if you go to the right places. So at that discount, I would feel much more comfortable recommending this set. And this set is not related to anything that's very current, like World Cup or the Olympics or anything like that, where you need to have the set right now. You might want to have it before the end of summer, or you can just wait till next year, or you might want to bring up memories of the summertime in the fall or winter. Either way, if you wait a bit to buy the set and get it at a discount, I think that's going to be a far better use of your money. Yeah, because there's no large or specialized pieces here that would justify paying that price. There's no sound brick, there's no motors, there's no light brick or anything that could justify, in my mind, paying 50 US or 65 Canadian for just these 437 pieces. And this is a set with lots of stickers, so it's not completely printed. I know that mini dolls are a bit more expensive than minifigures, but you get only 3 mini dolls here, not 35. So yeah, a little bit overpriced, not crazy, not too bad, but if you can get it on a discount, it's going to be a lot better. Now this is a set as it is, and the reason why I got this set is because I thought it presents a reasonable challenge. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I far prefer buildings that are completely enclosed instead of open back or like a dollhouse, as we see here. And I think that this is a set that offers beginner MOC makers, so people who are just getting back into LEGO and they want to do their own custom stuff. I believe this is one of the easiest ones to MOC into one big cabin. So let's do that. So the first thing I did was I removed this, and I basically had to do the minor piece swap here. So I took that piece that the tree and toilet were originally on and put it here, and that makes it nice and even, except for when you look at the bottom, but no one's going to look at the bottom and we don't care. And I took this larger green piece with the tree here as well as the toilet so that it's completely enclosed, or yeah, it has like a base all around it. So I think this is a very simple modification that gets rid of one of my critiques of like having the toilet stuck right next to this thing. Well, you can send it far away, as it should be in my opinion. The next thing I did was remove these parts here from the cabins so that they can be brought closer together, and I flipped these pieces with clips to point this way outwards instead of towards each other, because that would block. Now this one is still blocking, so let's take this out for now. And so we're getting closer to our goal, but one major thing that's missing here is that we have no doors at all. So that is one thing that we're going to need to fix if we want to make this realistic. I think this is the best area for a door, because here we have the bike racks that I don't want to move. Here we have this book that I don't want to remove. And we could have also put it here at this side, but I just prefer to have it next to the bike racks, because my thinking is that you come in on your bike, you drop it here, and then you walk right in. So interestingly, once we remove these pieces, this one comes off all in one shot. Because we don't have a door piece that we can use just for this set, unless we steal the one from the toilet, which I don't want to do, we're going to have to brick build the door, so these are the pieces that we can use to do that. So here's my final result. I skipped a few steps just so that the video does not go on forever, since I think it's easier to just show you the final result. Ultimately, I ended up moving a few things around, including in the interior. So I used conveniently these pieces right here and some of the bricks that I had lying around to complete the structure and close it off. For the door, at the beginning I wanted to do just a regular door that would flip open like this, but I could not figure out how to make it work with only the pieces in the set, so I figured it would be easier to do a sliding door. And here I put an optional stud, so you can take this out if you don't want it, just to hold it in place when it's closed. But basically the idea is that you just move it slightly and then slide it back, and here there's smooth tiles to make it slide back and forth very easily, except for this last stud here. Maybe there's a way to make this better by pushing the stud off by one and then adjusting this plate here, but for now I'm keeping it as it is. It gets the idea across. So yeah, slide the door open, and then here the door is not going to fall because it's held in place with this wall from the outside, and then there's another wall with two palisade bricks stacked one on top of the other over here to hold it in place. I did move the beds around to create this common area in the middle. There's a coffee mug that's still there, and there's two nightstands, one for these two and one for these other two beds. So yeah, this way you have both the nightstand and the centralized table in the middle where they can meet when it's raining and stuff like that, or just early in the morning before heading out for the campfire. To bring these two pieces together, I stole this 1x2 plate from one of the beds, and I replaced those pieces with like 1x1s, but because the bed is here, it's barely noticeable. You have to look for it to notice that I did that. This is a little bit more noticeable, but it's not too bad in my opinion. You can think of it as some kind of decoration if you want. I took off the 1x2 rounded plates from here and here, just so that the roofs would close more easily. And by the way, because of the design of the cabin, there's no way to open the door when the roof is closed. So yeah, if I want to open the door, I have to open the roof first. It's a little bit of an inconvenience, but you have to make trade-offs when we're only using the pieces in this set and not other pieces. I put the flag here at an angle. I wish there was a way to make it straight up, but I think this is not too bad either. And here at the front with the extra pieces that I had remaining, I made a nice little path here and some steps to walk up to the cabin. If I had more pieces, I would have wanted to do a ramp here. I think ramps are more accessible. They're better to use in general, but we don't have those pieces in enough quantities in the set. So yeah, and this is completely closed off from the back and from each side. Here's what it looks like from the bottom in case you want to recreate this on your own. Yes, I'm cheating a little bit by putting these pieces here, but again, because it's at the bottom, no one's going to notice unless they go looking for it specifically. And here, this gap would have been a problem here. I basically plugged it by putting a bed here sideways. So basically this teal bed here is closing off that gap, so it's not letting in animals and things like that. I kept some of the foliage pieces from the existing set, and I moved a few others around as needed, just to give it some nice looks. And I put the fox right here, blocking the path or monitoring it, protecting it, however you wish to perceive that. I realized earlier in the review I did not show you how the mini dolls would fit in places like a toilet, so let's look at that right now. So I'll take Zach, he's going to be my guinea pig. I'm going to send him to the washroom right now. And now I realize why they use these windows here is to give the mini doll hands some clearance. So they really had to use those pieces here, otherwise it would not have worked. Let's close the door. And yeah, like depending on the angle, you might be able to see his face in there, and like I think that this door should have been one stud higher. It's too short. So yeah, this is what he looks like. He's not going to go anywhere, but I just wish this door was a little bit higher, and I think they should have added a roof here to add more privacy. If I had more pieces, or if I wanted to sacrifice the campfire, I could put this on top to cover it, but I won't do that. But you do have options within this set to rectify the situation, but at least the toilet is now further away from the cabins than it was in the default instructions for the build. And here's what the mini dolls look like in their beds. So let's take Sky here because she does not have a guitar. Just put her in this bed. Here's what the mini doll looks like when placed in the bed. Very easy for her to fall off, and this because of this hairpiece. So let's pretend it's a wig and just make her go bald for the purpose of this test. So this is fine, but this is not fine because her hand is going to get in the way. So let's hand up. That's a little bit better. If we close this. Yeah, okay, so the solution here is to sleep with your hand up. Not the most traditional way to do things, but that works for our purposes. Otherwise, you could always move the beds around if that bothers you. You want to make it more realistic, but you might have to change other things. You might want to do the beds like this instead of like this. Or you might want to remove one bed, because there's only 3 mini dolls in the set. There's 4 beds, so you can just throw out one of the beds, and that will also solve the problem. Or add your own pieces and make this a little bit larger. So there's many ways to get around this. So I think I'll give the LEGO set designers a little bit more credit than I gave initially. I still think the set is overpriced, but I do have to recognize that they gave us enough parts to make this into one cabin that's completely closed off. So I do appreciate that, I really do. But at the same time, I think this is what the set should have been from the beginning, i.e. give us this and then give us like some, so they would have had to change a few things to make that work. But basically what I would have wanted is to have like this one cabin, and then maybe you can split it in the middle. You have like pins or clips to separate them, and maybe have just 3 beds instead of 4, get rid of this mess, and just make things acceptable to all parents. Like if they want boys and girls sleeping in the same cabin, putting them together, etc., throw out this guy and bring in another girl, or throw out the girls and just bring in 2 guys, and really emphasize that Friends now is for boys and girls, either or, if that's a concern for lots of parents. But again, these are 7-year-olds, they're under adult supervision, I would hope so. And that's another thing, there's no adults in this set. No adult mini dolls, you have to get those separately. So I do think if kids are going to be playing around in this campfire, maybe they should have an adult supervising them. Unless Sky is the adult. But if Sky is the adult, then why does Zach have a crush on her? Or is this S someone else? It's really hard to know. So yeah, lots of things are open for interpretation here. It's a cute little set. It has lots of useful pieces. It's very overpriced. I still stand by that. But at least you can take the pieces and make your own creation out of it. So that's something that I like. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.